Yeah. Holy smokes, I'm no joke out the bullpen. Bringing nothing but heat, leave you hanging like clothespins. He's a beast when he goes in, ice cold frozen. The first round draft pick, #1 chosen. Drop bombs, explosion, I'm self-promotion. And I keep shit moving like a flanker in motion. I'm the #1 spokesman, it's my devotion. That I'm dedicated to the rhyme is my own notion. Brown water's the potion, it put hair on your chest. Or you can put one in the air and it'll put you to rest. Sweet dreams, I'm about to fade. I got my mind on my money and I'm dreaming about getting this all paid. Mr. Go-Getter, Mr. Assertive, Mr. Initiative, Mr. Results, man, I'm all about my business, kid. Damn.
Yeah. It's the Super Bowl, baby. And I got the Macho Man Randy Savage glasses on. I am ready to go, ready to roll, ready to give you the plays that pay the bills. It is Super Bowl show, Circa Millions. And of course, I am joined by absolutely nobody because they can't handle my fire. They can't handle my heat. They can't handle what I'm going to be bringing to the table. However, I owe it to the people. I owe it to you guys to give you the plays for tonight's last game of football season. It's been a great run. I am excited for this game, but it's a little bit sentimental knowing that we're not going to have football for a while. At least good football. I know the XFL or the UFFL, whatever it's called, is coming out, but we're going to have a little bit of break in the action and transition into a little bit of college football. But I want to make sure I shout out some of my guys in the chat before we get going. Justin loves the Kittle over 44.5 plus 125 stacks 140 143. And make sure you hit the like button. Y'all pulled up. Give him the horn for that one. Of course, Clint is joining as always. Justin picks side today. Oh, he's talking. Justin. He says, Guns, what up, my guy? Dude, I'm having a great day. I feel great. Cold's gone for the most part. Felt a little bit bad this morning, but I had my medicine tea, and I'm feeling revved up for this game. Wine time in the building. Gun, what's up, my guy? I am having a day. Mike is in the chat as well. So far, I'm on the under. Harrison Buckner, 1.5 over field goals. Caffrey, anytime touchdown. Love the picks, guys. Love it here. Wine time goes. I'm on the 49ers -2 under 148. Like that number you got there. Wine time. I'm going to talk about this in a second. Take the Chiefs end of the year with the W. It's a tough game on the side. I will say that, but I'll get to that in a second. Of course, my guy, Dabby. Jordan here. What up, homies? Give him the horn for that one. All right, let's talk about the game here. Let's talk about what we're all here for, and that is the Super Bowl. Of all Super Bowls, a rematch of the 2019 Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be taking place at Allegiant Stadium, Las Vegas, Nevada. But we need to break down these teams properly, see where they're coming from. You look at San Francisco on the offensive end. They're #1 in overall DVOA, #1 in pass DVOA, second in offensive rushing DVOA. O-line is only giving up a 4.1% sack rate. Defense is also exceptional as well for the San Francisco 49ers. Fourth in overall DVOA, fourth in defensive passing. However, they're middle of the road in pass defense, only ranked 15th in rush DVOA. And you're going to see me taking advantage of this situation with the weak point for the San Francisco 49ers. On the other side of the ball, you got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're ranked 8th overall in offensive DVOA, 8th in offensive passing, 17th in offensive rushing DVOA. And you look at the defensive side, this is a defense that Kansas City hasn't seen ever in the Pat Mahomes era. 7th in overall DVOA, 5th in defensive pass DVOA, but there is a weak point in this team, and that is the rush D. Only ranked 27th in rush defense overall DVOA. This is also a defensive team that gives up 4.5 yards per attempt, 182 yards in the opponent passing, but they get to the quarterback with a 9.5% sack rate. On the other side with the 49ers, They're good against the rush, 4.3 yards per attempt, 97 yards to opponents per game, 216 on the passing end, and they have a 7.2% sack rate. Then you got to look at pace of play of these two teams. You got San Francisco 49ers here at 32nd, dead last in pace. They take their sweet-ass time. Where you have the KC side of the ball, they're ranked 17th in pace. So they kind of control things on their level. They can either get up to the ball, pass the ball, but KC is methodical for the most part, very surgical with their offense this year than they have been in the past. Also, got to look at these two defenses in terms of scoring. You have the 49ers. They only allow 16.1 yards per game on the road. I'm calling it the road because they're both on the road on this situation. That ranks them second in the NFL in defensive scoring. Then you have KC on the other side. They're ranked second in defensive scoring, only 16.8 points per game allowed, 17.1 points per game on the road. That ranks them third. So you have two defenses that bend, don't break, don't give up a lot of points. And I think this is gonna be an absolute rock fight from tip to tip on this one. Then you got to look at these situations for these two teams. This is the third meeting dating back to 2018 between KC and the 49ers. Last meeting they had was in 2022. The total was 49, and they put up 67 in that game. 2019, the total was 54, ended at 51. That was the Super Bowl. And then 2018, 54, ended at 55. Now you're seeing the line here sitting at 47 and a half. 48s are out there on the board. I think this is going to be the first play here, and it's my top play. I'm going to be taking the under here, 47 and a half as a 5-unit banger. I mean, if we could talk about the sides, I think this is going to be an absolute surgical type of situation. You look at the KC side, they're the most under team in the NFL. 14-6 to the under this season. The under is 5-1 in their last 6 games. In the 6 overs this season, 3 of those were against the AFC East, 2 of those were against the NFC North, and 1 was a divisional opponent in the Las Vegas Raiders. Granted, they are playing in the same stadium. They did get that over, but this is a different scenario here, in my opinion. I think both teams are going to play exceptional defense. There's going to be a lot of 3-and-outs. It's going to be a lot of punting, and there's going to be a lot of field position play on this one. Maybe the kickers are going to be a little bit more busy than they normally are, but this is going to be one of the situations. I think it's going to be more run-oriented, very heavy run-oriented for both teams, and you've seen it with KC in the last 2 playoff games. And I think if the 49ers are going to get anything done, especially with Brock Purdy in his first Super Bowl, there's going to be nerve factor in there, okay? And the way to get away from the nerve factor is you got to balance the offense a little bit, run the ball a little bit, do a lot of situational runs. And I think this is a spot it's going to happen. When you run the ball, you kill the clock. And I think when you kill the clock, it's going to be one of those games you're going to be looking at it under here. So under is my top play on this one. 47 and a half. Not a 1, not a 2, not a 3, and not a 4. A 5-unit banger, baby. I'm saying this is my top play of the night. All right. Getting back to the chat. Chat is rolling tonight. Appreciate all you guys all season long. You've been absolutely tremendous to me and Shark, supporting this channel from the start. And I appreciate all you guys hanging out with us here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Wow, chat's moving here. It says, Peter says, glad guys is feeling better. Best NFL capper ever, man. Appreciate you, my guy. But let's finish this season up strong. I am hammering this board today. Nasty Nate, what's up, my guy? Pats, smash. Let's go. All right, Pats ain't playing today. All right, but I do have the Pats jersey for the NFL Super Bowl. All right. Pro Sean 007. He likes something that I might like on this one. He likes KC +8 and the over 41.5 teaser 800 on that one. Damn, you're playing with some absolute napalm today, my guy. All right, Nasty Nate back in there. I actually have an 8-pack of Vivas about to go down. Shout out to the Vivas, man. I'll get the horn for that one. Hell yeah, dude. All right. Mike Munoz. Also looking at McCaffrey, does rushing attempts over 3.5. Rushing attempts or receiving attempts? Because the rushing attempts, I think, is a little bit higher than 3.5. First rushing attempt. Got it. All right, see that one, 3.5 yards. Got it. LVCC coming in with some fire. He thinks there's going to be a run back that's going to get the MVP on this one. CMC +450. man, I don't know. Running backs typically don't get in those spots. It's usually quarterbacks or defensive players, maybe even a wide receiver. But hey, I mean, if there's a game that's going to happen and a guy that can actually do it, it's Christian McCaffrey. I won't lie about that one. I want to talk to my guy, Jabaka. He loves the over rushing attempts, Purdy over rushing yards. You may be aligned with me. I'll get to my props in a second. The Guns is speaking facts per usual. Yeah, that's all I do is I speak facts. I speak the damn truth. I know how this game's going to come. I've already played it out in my head. And now it just needs to happen here at 6:30 p.m. tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada. Maj, let's flex on that one for the Guns. Give him the horn. Detroit Gator wants to know first quarter score under 8.5. Listen, San Francisco's a slow starter. They have been in the past 2 playoff games. It's common knowledge. You actually look at the numbers. Actually, if you go back like 3 or 4 games, they've actually started slow as molasses. However, you got the KC side. KC likes to build a big lead or build up to a lead, and then they like to take control of the game, run the clock, and play a little bit slow. And they've done that in the past playoff games. They did it against Miami. They did it against Buffalo, and then they pulled it off against on the road in 2 out of those 3 cases, and they did it with the Ravens as well. I could see the same type of methodical thing, but I think we could play a little bit on both sides of this one. If that does hit over in the first half, maybe we go and you take the second half, because I'll take the second half under all day long if this thing does go over in the first half. But I think there's going to be a little bit nervous jitters on this one coming out of the gate. Tough for me to say on the first quarter, because both teams, if you actually look at their first quarter splits, which I have, you got San Francisco ranked 4th in offensive points per game in the first quarter, 6.1 points per game. On the defensive side, they're ranked 18th, though, giving up 4.2 points per game. However, KC on the other side doesn't really score too much overall. 14th in the league in scoring in the first quarter, 4.8 points per game, but they're 3.2. They only give up 3.2 points per game on the defensive side of the ball, ranked 5th. So the way this kind of plans out in my head is KC would probably want to come out with the lead if they're going to be in this game. And I would probably lean towards the KC side in the first quarter. It seems like a lot of the juice is going that way when I was looking at it last night. I haven't played it myself, but that's the way I'd play it. I'd probably look at the first quarter, not the total, but I'd probably say KC in the first quarter would have the lead. Detroit Gator wants to know what we're sipping tonight. I got a ton of stuff. I got the beers, got a couple of seltzers. I got some tequila. I got some bourbon. I'm not going to go to the tequila. Tequila's on the shelf. Probably, but if we win this game and we cash some tickets, you bet your sweet ass I'm going to be pouring some bourbon out for the boys. All right. I'm feeling a sweep today. Phil, I always feel like I'm sweeping the board. Does it happen every time? Probably. Well, sometimes, but not all the time. But let's sweep the board today. Super Bowl's my jam. And I've been historically good at the Super Bowls the past 2 or 3 years. So let's get it again here today. All right. I want to talk about a couple of other plays that I love today. And this is one that I like here is the San Francisco team total under 24.5. I thought this was a great line to get on this one, because if you actually look at the history with playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, they've kept their teams under this particular number. And it kind of correlates towards the play of the under anyway. So most of my plays and the props and everything, and this is something that you guys got to be keen into, is methodically understand what the game is going to be. And if you like an underside, that everything should correlate towards that. Should be a lot of run props, should be a lot of unders for team totals or whatever, first quarters, that kind of thing. Find situational spots where you can keen in on those key type of plays. But this one really stuck out to me because let me tell you why. Look, San Francisco's great on the offensive side. They're ranked 2nd in points per game, 1st in points per play, 1st in points per drive. So that would tell the public, oh, this is going to be an over, right? Well, look at Kansas City on the defense. They are great at not giving up points, and they've done it versus great scoring offenses. You look what they did against Miami, ranked 2nd in points per play. KC held them, and they played them twice. KC held them to 7 points and 14 points, way low below their season averages. Baltimore ranked 4th in points per play. KC held them to 10 points. All right. And then, of course, Detroit. They played him in week 1. It was, coming off that big Super Bowl, highs of highs, getting the rings, and that inaugural home game. Did lose that game, but they held them to 21 points, where Detroit is ranked 5th in points per play. So there's 3 top 5 teams in scoring that they've held them below their season average. And San Francisco probably is going to fall in there. There's only one team in the league that has gotten over 24 points on the KC defense this year. You know what team that is? That's right. It's Green Bay Packers, who are 7th in points per play. That's the only team that's got over that hump of on the Kansas City Chiefs defense. So situationally, you got to look at this also as a big spot here. Brock Purdy has not played in the Super Bowl. All right. And they also got a rookie kicker too in Moody, which you have your 2 key elements to scoring points. You have your kicker and you have your quarterback coming into a situation where the lights are as bright as can be. And there's a lot of people in there. Everybody's watching, the millions and millions of fans across the world. You could get a little bit nervous. You could get a little bit shook. You can get a little bit rusty out the gate. So I think this is going to stay under the total regardless, overall total. But I want to look at this one here as San Francisco getting under the team total on this one. So I like this play a lot. That's why it's a 2-unit play for me. Under team total, San Francisco 24.5, 2-unit banger. And I wanted to take advantage of the KC one, but I didn't want to hit both sides. So I just picked that one because of just what KC has done versus their opponents not giving up points. I've seen San Francisco give up points, and most of that's not because of their defense. If you actually look at the Baltimore game, Brock Purdy makes mistakes. Bad things happen. And also, you got to look how he does versus top 5 defensive teams as well. It's not pretty. I think he has 1 touchdown and 5 INTs. So Brock Purdy's not looking too pretty in this situational spot. And I haven't picked a side. All right. If you want to talk about the side on this one, I'll say this. Okay. God and everybody, your uncle, your brother's brother, your brother's grandmother, everybody is going to be saying KC, right? I don't think they're wrong. I just don't know if that's going to be the situation here. I just think this is going to be a close game. I don't want to play the side on one side or the other because I think both teams could win this game. I think San Francisco statistically is the better team. However, Kansas City is the most seasoned Super Bowl team roster-wise than the 49ers. And you have Andy Reid, and you have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. You have guys that have just been there before, Pacheco, the defensive line. I mean, everybody that has been in these situations before know how to play and know how to game plan for this and prepare themselves to win this football game. San Francisco, on the other hand, has been there since 2019. Some of the guys that are still on that roster have been to a Super Bowl. However, I think there's a lot more youth on that side where I think it could be a situation where San Francisco could fall flat on their face against KC. And nobody thought KC was going to make that run this year, and they did. They won 2 tough road games versus Buffalo and Baltimore. I never thought they'd beat Baltimore, and they did it. So how would I fade Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl? I just can't, especially as a dog. It's tough. I just don't want to take a side on this one. I think there's ways to play this game, and I'll get to that one in a second. Actually, I'll do it right now. Let's talk about the teaser that I love here is this 6-pointer that I got early in the week on Monday. I think you can probably get +8 right now. I did get +8.5 early in the week. So CLV line, thanks to me. But I think +8 or anything above 7 is great for this one because I think this is going to be down to the last possession type of situation. KC +8.5 in the under 53.5, 2-unit play for me. Let me tell you why. Like I said, passes key numbers, right? You take that +2 and you move it past the 3, you pass the 7, pass 2 key numbers, and then you get that total over 50, which is the spot that I want to be at 53.5. Last year's Super Bowl was 38-35, 73 points. But this is a different KC team that if you looked at KC's team last year, they were number 1 in offensive points per game. They were averaging 29.9 points per game last season. Now they're ranked 15th in the league this season on the offensive side. So massive drop off on the offense but a boost on the defense, right? Their defense has gotten exceptionally better, while their offense has been a little bit more mediocre at best. Public is also smashing the over on the perception that Pat Mahomes and the Niners offense are going to score a lot of points. We saw it in 2019. They put up a lot of points on that one, did go under. And these two teams met 3 times this season. They went over 2 out of 3, and they scored over 50 points in each one of those games, in every 3 of those games, in 2018 and 2019 and also 2022. But this is a very different planning with these two teams because the defense has just gotten a lot better. They're more defensive oriented, take care of the ball there, especially against the pass, and they're a little bit more run oriented now. You're starting to see the KC offense starting to run the ball, get a little bit more balance. Same thing with the 49ers on this one. They run the ball multiple ways. They don't only use Christian McCaffrey. They'll use Deebo Samuel. They'll use Juszczyk. They'll use Brandon Ayuk. They have so many weapons. Brock Purdy could move with the speed on this one. So I think this is one of those situations where the under is going to be very. I'm keened in on this under on this one, and getting a 53.5 to me is a gift in itself. But I think this is going to come very close. It's going to come down to the last possession, and when it comes down to the last possession, you know what that means. Holding an 8.5 ticket and the score being very low, this 2-team teaser is going to feel like money. So I love this one here. Give me these just 2-team teaser, KC plus 8.5 and the under 53.5 for 2 units. All right, going back to the chat. Jabaka agrees with me. Actually, he likes the over. He's pushing it down. I think you're good both ways, okay? If you want to push it down past the 41 to get on the over, I don't hate that either. I think it's going to be very sharp at the end of the day. If you want to do that, by all means, you pass some key total numbers as well if you do the over that way. However, I'd rather play with the under a little bit more than the over on that one. And we both, I wanted to both cash that one. Absolutely. Justin likes the first half over 23.5. I would love to see this first half over hit. And because I think if the over hits on the first half, I'm going to be taking the under in the second half big time. I think this is going to be, especially if you got KC with a lead or something like that. KC, you look at their second half, they hit the brakes. They play a little bit more methodical. They slow the game down. They run the clock, time of possession. And I think both teams have that capability here. However, 49ers, you've seen them in the second half. You saw it against Detroit. They could play very slow in the first half, which they have been, but they could pick it up in the second half, which kind of makes me nervous on this one. Justin says live bet under on that one. I don't hate that one either. This probably looks, especially if you can get it over 50, 51, 52 at any point. Say if they have a first, Pat Mahomes gets the ball first, scores it. You could get a nice total number on that one if that happens fairly quickly. All right, I want to get into some of the props now. I know you guys are here for that, really. So I gave you listen, if you just joined us now, you just joined us later, I just want to say this: like and subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know every time that we go live. There's gonna be college basketball content coming out of here after this game, and this is gonna be the spot to go see it. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the thumb, all that bullshit that every YouTube person tells you to do. All right, let's talk about this prop. I love this prop here. Touchback. This is the first kick. Okay, the first kick touchback. No, plus 260 at a quarter unit on this one. I went and did some looking to see how many times a touchback was kicked off in the first in the opening kick, and what I realized is they put the commemorative ball out there first, right? So it's not really a true kicking ball from the kicker. Like every team has their own balls, as you know, with Deflategate, because they talked about that ad nauseum. But kickers have their own balls. They warm them up, they punch them, they get them ready, so they're fully ready to kick. And these balls are quote unquote juiced a little bit, well, they're made for their foot, the way they like it, so they could go boot that thing into the back of the end zone for a touchback. However, with the Super Bowl, you don't get that. They have a special ball. It's a commemorative ball. It's only used for that particular play. They boot that thing. Whatever happens to it, they take that ball off the field, and that is part of the football Hall of Fame in Canton or something like that or whatever. It's a commemorative ball. It's only used for the kicks. So it's not typically something that the kickers are comfortable with. And it shows with the stats on this one. Last 10 Super Bowls, 3 out of the last 10 were touchbacks. Only 3. And then you got to look at these two teams when it comes to kicking touchbacks, right? So KC kickoffs, 83.33% of their kicks resulted in a touchback. That's 10th in the league. But the 49ers, on the other hand, 62.39% of their kicks ended up in a touchback. That's 25th in the league. So we're hoping that KC gets the ball first and the 49ers end up kicking it off because you have a better probability of getting the kick on this one. And I just like getting the value here at plus 260. So I'm going to take a shot at this one just for what they call pizza money, beer money, or whatever they call it. Give me a touchback here. No. Plus 260 for a quarter unit. Let's go into another prop. All this is going to be correlated to the runs on this one from now on. This is all running props because I think it's going to be a heavy running game. And why wouldn't I take advantage of a team in KC's defense that is 27th in the league in against the rush and what they give up to the quarterbacks in the rushing game as well. And that's why Brock Purdy, I think, is going to be using his legs a lot in this game. Give me the over 12.5 rushing yards, 1 unit. Now, when you look at Brock Purdy, he doesn't look like a runner. He's not necessarily a runner, but he can move his feet. You actually look at him in these 2 playoff games when the games matter the most. He has 5 rushing attempts and 6 rushing attempts. And he surpassed this mark in both of those games. He actually had 48 rushing yards versus Detroit in his last game. Now, KC, against QBs, here's their rushing yards. They gave up 54 rushing yards to Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. They gave up 72 yards to Josh Allen in Buffalo. They gave up 32 yards to Cincinnati. And then they gave up 25 yards to Tua. And they gave up 77 yards to Easton Stick, okay, for the Chargers. So this team is susceptible of giving up yards to quarterbacks. And I think that has a lot to do with the pressure that KC likes to put on quarterbacks. Like I said, they have a 9.5% sack rate. I think Purdy, being as young and green as he is in these type of situational spots, I mean, he's only a second-year quarterback for that matter. I think he's going to be scrambling a lot, and I think he's going to be utilizing his feet to try to create some sort of offensive production in this game. And getting over this 12.5, in my mind, should be fairly easy for him, and I think he gets it done here. Give me the over, Purdy, 12.5 rushing yards, 1 unit play. Jabaka loves it. Great Lakey at picking up spots of the run. Love this pick. Yes, he is. And if you actually look at him going back to Iowa State when he had Breece Hall in the backfield and Aiden Hutchinson was his wide receiver, he would use his feet a lot in big games. When the lights were the brightest, he trusted his feet more than he trusted his arm, and he would take advantage of the openings that he have. Because when you look at him, like I said, he's not a running quarterback, but he can when the opportunity is presented. Here's one that I like, and it's probably gone off the board. I'm just taking. I know it's as square can be, but McCaffrey overs on rushing yards. I'm just going to take him till I'm blue in the face. And I got it at 88.5 early in the week. I think it's surpassed 90 at this point. But if you look at this stat here, McCaffrey puts up 90 rushing yards or more in 7 out of his last 8 games. Okay. So this is a guy that consistently gets there, and he's going against a KC defense ranked 17th in opponent rushing yards per game, 25th in rushing yards per attempt. This is a team that KC is more focused on the pass rush and the pass defense and not giving up the big plays, but they do give up a lot on the running game. And of course, Christian McCaffrey is going to get his fair share of looks on this one. I think we take advantage of all the Christian McCaffrey props we can in this game. I don't know if I necessarily want to take the rushing attempts because I think Shanahan's probably going to spread the ball out to multiple guys in the running game. But I think Christian McCaffrey hits this one this is their proverbial offensive crutch to the San Francisco 49ers, and they're going to do it again here. So I got 88.5 as rushing yards. I'll make that a 1-unit play. All right. Speaking of rushing running backs, how am I not going to be taking Pacheco? Right? Got him. I got him. He's an absolute animal. He's getting through holes that it seems like he's a ghost. I don't know how he's fitting through these seams, but he's doing it. And if there's any way to take advantage of the San Francisco defense in this one, is pounding the rock on the run game, and they have a great running back to do this. So I like over 67.5 rushing yards here for Pacheco for 1 unit. Let me tell you why. KC takes advantage of the run versus a solid pass defense. Like I said, San Francisco defense is ranked 15th in defending the run. And then you look at Pacheco's numbers on this one. He has surpassed his total in 4 straight games, and I think he's done it in 8 out of his last 11 or something like that. I forget what the total is on this one. It's kind of a little bit mixed on how they use him in the offense. However, especially in the playoffs, he's getting a lot of looks because he is the hot hand on this one. And he got over 70-plus yards in the Super Bowl last year. So I think it's going to be another situation that they're going to pound the rock with Pacheco. They're going to have to versus this. If they're not able to run the ball, they're not going to do anything versus San Francisco. So San Francisco will be honed in on the pass defense, and all they have to do is take out Rice and take out Kelsey. Easier said than done, granted, but I think if there's a team that can do it, it's the 49ers. So look for Pacheco to get over this total, 67.5 rushing yards, 1 unit play. Alex in the chat says Mahomes' longest rush over 11.5. Seems too easy, right? I stayed away from the props with Pat Mahomes on that one because I never know what I'm going to get out of him in that game. But it is a Super Bowl, and that dude loves to move his feet and create with his legs. Another prop, I'm just going to piggyback this with the over rushing attempts with Pacheco. Same type of scenario. They're going to run the ball a lot. And if you actually look at Pacheco, he has surpassed this total in 11 games this season, including his last 4 that he's played in. I toss out the Chargers game because I don't think he played in that game. A lot of guys were resting for that game. So I'm going to be going over on Pacheco rushing attempts at 15.5 as well. I think he gets a lot of carries, a lot of looks on this one. Last prop I'm going to give you guys today. This is prop number 6. I kind of like this one. I'm just going to put a little bit of pizza money on it. Under 1.5 rushing yard scoring touchdown. Everything that I'm doing right now is saying I think this is going to be a running game. I think they're going to both sides are going to be less pass oriented, and they're going to try to pound the rock with the run. If they do pass, I don't think they're going to be successful in this one. We'll see. If the run game is successful, I think when they start loading the box, yes, you can probably get a few good passes on this one. However, I think this is a situational spot that we take advantage of this one. Listen, happened last time in the Super Bowl. Pacheco had a 1-yard rushing touchdown, right? You actually go back. This is hit the last 4 Super Bowls. It's gone under. But it's also a public play for a lot of people. Everybody takes the over in the 1.5 rushing yards because you look at that on your prop board and you say, are you telling me that it's going to go down to the 1 every single year? No way. This thing goes over. It's going to be over. I think the highest touchdown in the past 10 years in Super Bowls is 8 yards. And the second is 3. So this is hit a lot. 7 out of the last 8 Super Bowls, this is hit. Okay? And 4 straight. So I'm going to take advantage of this. This is a little bit juice now. I think it's minus 140, minus 150. But it's just for fun. We're playing with a little bit of prop action on this one. Why not? I'm going to take the under scoring touchdown 1.5 yards on this one. But those are the props for this end of the Circa Million show. Noah and Shabaka just dropping props all the time. I appreciate him. Always in the chat. Noah Gray over 1.5 receptions. Can't talk you off that one. But yeah, I'm going to be adding more props as we go. I still have 5.5 hours before game time, so I'm going to be looking for more situational spots today. If you want to see me drop those plays consistently. That's why I have the Slack channel with the Dad Pods, the Odds Fellow, and the Punisher Picks. And you can go check that out. There is a link in my bio, or you can just DM me. I can get you in. It is absolutely free for the month of February. Just drop a tip at the end of the month, and you can stay with us, okay? But that's going to do it here for the NFL season Circa Millions show. I just want to say I appreciate everybody. We had a very successful season. I'm very happy with the results. We dominated. We hit 58% in the NFL season. I will recap the entire season either tonight or tomorrow. Depends on how lubricated I am and how much food is in my belly. But all you guys that have joined us all season long, Justin, Jabaka, Peter Grazia, always in the chat. Great, mucho appreciated. Detroit Gator, always asking me what I'm drinking. Phil, Maj, Wine Time, LVCC. Sorry for the cough. Mike Munoz, Nasty Nate, and all you beautiful bastards that joined. Clint, always appreciate you guys. Always checking out the content that we're bringing to the table. You know what? Here's what I'm going to end this with. Let's cash some tickets. Let's sweep the board. And as always, let's keep dancing to NFL season 2024. Bang.